Rawr.
When did we all get this dumb?
Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. I don't see any bodies, so it doesn't count.
I'm angry about taxes.
I'm the chef. I want to hear one thing. Yes, chef.
Come on, man. Use your brain.
The Why I'm Angry podcast starts now.
Oh, man. I hit the button the wrong way and I went to the wrong spots. This is the Why I'm Angry podcast here in the Man Cave Freestyle Studio. I think I messed that up. I think it's the Freestyle Man Cave Studio. But anyhow, this is the chef. I got Jay Boots and the illustrious Honest Abe here with me. I want to remind you right off the bat to check out our merch store. Get on our website at whyimangry.com. We've got some new stuff coming up and stuff coming on at all the time. We need some support. So get on and join the fight for free thinking. Guys, we're here. We made it. Another week. You think?
I said we're here and thinking free.
Ah, that's right. Thinking free. Free thinking
I'm
battle.
on the wrong podcast.
This was not the line for the for the snow cones. Yeah.
I'm looking for the elephant ear line.
I was wanting the brainwashed podcast. So, yeah. Well, it's been one of those weeks for just about everybody, I think. Israel had a rough one last week, and now Hamas is having a rough one this week. It sounds like.
Well, they started it.
Turnaround's fair play, right?
Stuff when you're dumb, you know.
It's like hitting that little kid on the playground that you didn't realize was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master, and comes and breaks your arm off, smashes your elbow in 3 spots, and you sit there on the ground crying, but you realize I kind of did this to myself. This to myself.
Right. It's like punching BJ Penn in the face and not expecting to be taken down on the ground, you know?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of things going on. We're going to kind of start with that. I mean, I guess we're into it already a little bit. So the thing, everybody's kind of engulfed into the whole news of, Israel is at war with pretty much everybody at this point. It's Hamas is the strike right now. Most likely on the list is Hezbollah, and the Houthis are probably going to be on that list because they're kind of stacking up against them on the border at the moment. And then on the list is probably Iran in some short measure, which we already said that, Israel was not lying about hitting Iran with a nuclear warhead. They were not, they weren't just, idle threats. That was real. So be on the news for that soon. And with that,
it wasn't a joke.
It was not a joke. It was not, it's sad when you think, I was told a funny joke today. I told that Israel was not joking, not idly threatening Iran. They were promising. And then all of a sudden there's a war with Iran or with Hamas with Israel. And I'm like, well, this could get good quick.
Surprise.
So the big news over the overnight and kind of last night was U.S. officials said yesterday there was an explosion at a Gaza hospital. And in that strike, the Hamas says that Israel missiled this hospital just with their missile attack. And their airstrikes just blew this hospital to bits. It doesn't seem like that. What are you guys seeing?
I mean,
did you guys see anything about this? Can't see me.
I
My
think
tongue's
there's
now.
a lot of misdirection going on with different things lately.
Yeah.
He said, she said, you don't see me kind of thing. Turns out,
Well,
surprise.
yeah. U.S. officials have said that infrared satellite imagery showed a projectile was fired from within Gaza, while Israel said it intercepted Hamas's communication, blaming an allied group, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And separately, there's been a few other views of it, I guess, from camera shots that don't show a giant crater, which is kind of the telltale you got bombed from above, you got missile attack type thing. And it seems like it was more small wares rocket attack over the missile. Is kind of what I've been seeing.
Mm-hmm.
They do say about 470 people could have died in that setup or in that situation. 471 people had died, which is sad that these people are now like collateral damage, and you don't know who actually you're not sure exactly who is to blame on this situation. But yeah, so
I think people read into too much with it. I think it's not like clear cut. It's not black and white, right? Like there's a lot of gray
right,
areas when it comes to missile attacks and nuclear attacks and everything else.
right.
It's like one is not the same as all the rest. So I think I think a little bit of clarity on the subject and the issue in a whole would probably benefit a lot of people in this subject.
Well, and I guess on this whole thing, we're seeing a lot of infighting between, oh, we want to root for the underdog, the small guys, the guys within the guys. But you're really, if you're rooting for Hamas, then I mean these are the worst of the worst people. I mean these they have 199 people still on lockdown that they don't know whether they're hostages, whether they're dead, whether they, and if they're dead, then they're just holding on to people's bodies.
Right.
And so, take whatever side you want, but when you're calling for people to be, for them to go to the gas chamber or for them to be completely wiped out, you better know that you're on the right side of God on this one.
Right. Do you think people forget that Hamas is a group and not a country? It's just like
Well,
like that.
yeah,
Obviously they're running or have it's like a rebel group that's like taken over government or whatever, but it's not like it's not like Hamas is like the size of Russia.
right,
It's
right. Even
it's
the size of Iran or something like that. Yeah.
right. Right.
I mean, it's kind of the proxy military for Iran. I mean, if Iran had its own military, it would be a lot like Hamas or Hezbollah, or I mean, that's pretty much
Right.
what it is.
True.
But
But I feel like a lot of times people just forget that like it's not like if um, Russia and the U.S. went against each other, it's not that type of war.
right,
So I
this is
feel like
definitely not a battle between countries. I mean, not yet, at least. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that.
right. I mean,
Because that would
it could be World War III at some point, depending on who supports what and so forth. I guess.
exactly. It's just sorry, I got to get a few screens knocked down.
There's a lot of countries that are not pro-Israel. There are a lot of countries that are pro-Palestine right now.
That's true.
And that's, I mean, part of it is there's a lot of countries around Israel that are not pro-Israel. That You know, you could stack all the countries around. So far, Jordan and Egypt have at least held their ground as at least not ready to attack Israel. But all of the other countries that border Israel are not really friendly with Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe Jordan is
You think
okay.
that's because of you think that's because of like their own personal religious beliefs, or do you think it's a list of other things? I mean, not I shouldn't say
Uh
personal religious beliefs, but obviously as a whole or as a culture,
um
you know.
yeah, I mean culturally it's a lot of it does come down to religious beliefs. I mean it's not a I mean
Another war.
yeah, it's definitely not a not an like it's not these guys are all black or these guys are all, you know, whatever. It's a religious fight since BC,
Right.
you know. So I mean, you want to you you're seeing 3, 5, 10,000 years of religious beliefs now spilling over into, you know, I mean, what some are calling, you know, could be the end of the world, you know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to get biblical or not, but in Revelation it does talk about wars and so forth and holy wars, et cetera, et cetera. I won't go into too much detail, but I mean, it has been a prophecy in Revelation, so to speak,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this will happen. So I always find it interesting to like peel back the layers sometimes talking to people about like, hey, so where do you stand with Israel? you know,
Yeah. Well, you
like,
start seeing them
are
line up
you for or
against
against?
yeah, you start seeing them line up against Israel, and you see Damascus get bombed or something. You just need to start finding your hole to live in, or just throw yourself out in
Right.
front of a
You better
bomb
have
to
a
see
bunker
Jesus.
or
Right, it's time to come. It's kind of time to have your come to Jesus meeting before you actually meet Jesus, because it's all coming down quick.
right.
But
What do
yeah,
you think? There's a credible. Uh, it seems like there's a lot of how do you word this? It seems like there's a lot of people very panicked about this situation um, from an individual standpoint. Do you think that that's a credible worry or stress right now? I mean, seeing what's going on.
yeah. I mean, it depends on how you feel about your life. Honestly, I mean, not to be like, this is this, but at the same point, you know, Israel has nukes. Iran may have nukes. Russia has nukes, and they could be part of this also. China, I don't, could have nukes, and they've been funding Iran over the last 4 or 5 years. So
A certain tubby fella
so
and
what's what, so yeah, I mean this is one of those deals where it's like you're starting to see the biggest of the communist regimes kind of start to rise up, and they seem more organized than we do. Like if you're in the US, like I said a couple weeks ago, I said, that this war, this next big world war, if it's World War III or if it's just a big war, um, it's gonna hurt here. Like, not that Russia or China is ahead of us, but they're willing to do things that are not 100% Geneva Convention. And so, we could see, I mean, we could see where our power grid gets hacked into. We could see different things of that nature. And, at some point, we're going to have to figure out how to be reliant on what we have in front of us.
So, what's your opinion on that? Just to I don't know, dig in deeper a little bit about that subject specifically when it comes to the Geneva Convention and what is what is considered, you know, Maybe we
Yeah.
shouldn't peel back the layers. I don't know, or go down that
I
rabbit hole, I
mean,
should say. But
no,
when it
yeah, you're
comes to
right.
Geneva Convention stuff and what the proper way to go about war is, and what is considered war crimes and so forth. When it comes to wartime stuff, and say it breaks out, this is just again a devil's advocate kind of question. Say a world war breaks out, and we have some of the largest countries in the world against some of the other largest countries in the world that have very well, very prominent and dominant. Not to rhyme there, but to have two big or multiple militaries that are a very big part of their government, ready and at the will to go. How prepared do you think each country is to play by the rules? You know.
I mean, as prepared as Germany was in 1930, you know.
Yeah. Again. Yeah.
I mean, there like
I mean, I know that's a loaded question. Let's be
when you're a
realistic.
communist country, you didn't sign, you didn't sign the rules of engagement. You didn't sign the UN peace treaty. You didn't, you
Right.
when you're like
You didn't sign the
Iran hasn't
paper
even
that won't slap
been
your mom
added to
account.
the table. Yeah, when you're not an actual country that you're getting fought against. When you're a terrorist organization, obviously you don't follow the rules of engagement. You don't follow the rules of war.
Right.
So, in
Do you think
all
that should make?
honesty,
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. So, in all honesty, if they, I mean, the difference between us and them is humanity. Is some sort of humanity. Is the fact that and that's what a lot of I saw on a few of the news organizations, the more free thinking news organizations, is that Israel has given them time to get out of the Gaza Strip. They said
Right.
they gave them a 24-hour deadline, and then they still haven't completely gone guns a blazing, door to door, clearing the Gaza Strip. And so they gave them 24 hours to get out before they start bombing. And I don't think they started until early Tuesday, I think it was, when they really started, shooting missiles in and doing air raids and stuff like that. And so and that's because they actually cared about life and limb, people's lives. And so they said, get out. We don't care who you are. Get out of the Gaza. We don't care anymore. We're just going to level the place. It's not going to be there anymore. And I don't know that leveling the place and it's not going to be there anymore is really under in the rules of war. But I think that they did the best they can to get people where they need to be and out of that area, or give them at least a shot to get out of that area. And I think then, from there, we're going to try to get hostages back, which is why Hamas took so many hostages. Because at one point, we would give them 10 hostages for one person, like 10 people in prison for one hostage. And so they're going to use them as currency to get people back. The problem is I don't know that they're going to be any hostages or any prisoners of war from Israel anymore. It's almost like you've now kicked the wrong goat, and he's just going to, run you over till you're dead.
Right. It's like kicking that big hornet's nest on the on
Right.
the tree that you think was actually going to attack you once you kicked it.
Probably better analogy than the goat.
I was gonna say a goat. I don't know.
Maybe that goat ate a landmine. He's going to take your foot. So
You gotta do what you gotta do.
you got to
Feet are
do.
locked. Okay? Feet are
Right.
lost.
That's life.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion, Jay Boots?
On what?
Do you think Do you think they're going to play by the rules, or do you think it's a matter of that gray area again?
I mean, if you identify as a terrorist organization, in a nutshell, that's basically what they are. I don't think
And
they
that's
need
what I
to.
was getting at earlier with it's not a country versus country, so to speak. You know,
Right.
I mean, they don't need to. Why would they need to play by the rules of the Geneva Convention? What does that benefit them? This isn't a land grab.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
No,
definitely it was literally just it was an attack on their country, on their people.
Yeah.
They weren't trying. It wasn't like Russia attacking Ukraine, trying to take over Ukraine and annex them back into Russia.
I mean, they say they want the land, but really, it's they want to hurt the people. They want to hurt the Israelis.
Right.
isn't it interesting how wars have evolved over the periods of history, right? Like, I feel like I feel like there were so many wars that were more based upon I want your land or I want this territory or whatever the case. I want this part of our country, and but you've also had so many wars or attacks that have been around. Hey, I think you, or I think you should believe the same way that we should believe, or you know,
Right.
I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that. So we're gonna go ahead and bomb on your people, or we're going to. It's just interesting to me that
And
it's gone that way.
yeah, I mean,
Still, like we're
that's
humans.
really yeah, and that's really I think where it started is your different belief sectors and stuff like that. But I mean, if you go back to Cain versus Abel, they had a difference in their um who was favored by God. And so, you kind of go to the next battles and stuff like that. And I think, you know, and it's not always just been, it's not Muslims or it's not whatever or this or that. It's, Christians have done it too.
right.
We crusaded against Muslims um back in the whatever 6th century or 8th century or 16th century, or I don't even know remember
All
what
of
century
them.
it was. I mean there's been a few centuries we've done we've been out there, but
If the yeah, if the Hamas group and the Palestinians could Thanos snap away the Israels,
Israelis
all
or
the
Israelites,
the
yeah,
Israelites. I was
The
going to say
Israel
Israel. All the folks from Israel. I mean,
Israelians.
they wouldn't care about the land at the end of it.
right. No, they would be literally snapping away the opposition, and that's the
Doing all they
thought
want.
is, and that's honestly it. When you don't have, when you don't care about your iPhone, your computers in front of you, the podcast you're making, when all that you care about is your religion because that's your life, then that's how serious this is. That's why I even said on at the beginning of last podcast when we were doing the recording, I said Israel isn't fighting this battle because it's coming in to preemptively take away the want to fight in our like when we go to fight in Afghanistan, we're fighting there so we don't have to fight here. Or we're going to find, or we went to find bin Laden, or we're going after Saddam Hussein, or whatever, whatever figurehead we put as our, as the reason that we got bombed or whatever. And so we're going there with a little bit of hatred towards that person or that group because they killed our people. But like I said, after 8 or 10 or 15 years, that hatred kind of wanes away and we don't remember it anymore and we've kind of lost the sight of things. And
You
so,
forget what you're fighting for at some
right, and you
point.
start to forget a little bit of why you're fighting and stuff like that. Israel's in a different boat here. They're fighting on their land. They know that land. they're going to go in and they were saying, oh, but it's it's a lot of tunnels I mean, like Israel that hasn't lived in Gaza, like those people haven't been there. Like this is a little different. This is and this is a battle over a religion that wants to completely wipe them out.
Right.
So it's a little different thought. It's not the same kind of this battle could go on for 50, 100 years and they wouldn't lose traction because they still have that hatred too. They're still creating more people that have that hatred as they indoctrinate more people into their religion or into their philosophy of thinking that you you know it could be fast because Israel just snaps its fingers like Thanos because I'm sure they do have a glove because those guys have put money into defense. Like those guys have not been
Rest of
playing
the
around.
country,
I mean, but it
So what do
it
you think?
also
Go
it
ahead.
also
Sorry.
could be a long, long battle, and it could be a ferocious battle for many, many years.
I mean, realistically, the fight, when it comes to holy wars and stuff, the fight's been going on for thousands of years, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things. We are, well, I don't want to say we because I don't want to include, but I'm saying in the sense of a lot of these wars that have come around to the point of, hey, we're fighting over beliefs. We're fighting over
Yeah.
what you should believe, what our own beliefs are, whether it's Christianity or the Muslim mentality or any of the beliefs out there. We're
Yes.
now fighting over, we feel that you should believe this way, or they feel that you should believe this way. Um, what's the solution to this? Just wipe out the whole thing, or because it's interesting to me because you have a country that is so stern on this belief, and then you have a whole other organization, or even organization slash country, that is believe that stands behind this is the way you should believe. But then we live in a country that is so diverse when it comes to beliefs and cultures and so forth. North America is genuinely a melting pot of beliefs and religions and so forth. So it's interesting to me to see some of this stuff. It's not a political war. It's not a fight for land. It's not a fight for you know oil fields. It's not a fight for any of that. It's genuinely over beliefs. And now in this day and age, it's kind of it's for me, it's one of those things where it's a little bit enlightening that, hey, we still haven't gotten past this thousands of
No,
years
yeah.
later, that,
And
hey, we're trying to force our beliefs on this way or that way or whatever, you know.
and as sad as it is, we probably won't ever get over it because as much as you try to live with other religions and things of that nature, there are still parts of every religion that's going to divide you or separate you because your way is better or your way says this or your way says there's only one way or your way says destroy all of the other religions because they're infidels and they don't they're not as good as and so I think that the problem with it is that certain religions don't lend themselves to um I'm trying to say this as nice as possible, but don't lend themselves to coexisting. And I
Right.
think the quicker we learn that, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, maybe we throw them all on an island like we did all of the, people who were going to jail in Australia. We just throw them on an island and let them live there. Madagascar doesn't seem like it has too many people on it. Maybe we
Or
find,
wasn't it
we could,
wasn't it Georgia? Wasn't it Georgia at some point? Like the state of Georgia was supposed to be the
oh
state
yeah,
that
the
was
state of Georgia,
for all.
Florida at one point, they were both like debtors states or whatever. I mean, maybe we build an island. I mean, Dubai's been doing something like that lately, right? They've, the Emirates have been building islands and stuff. So maybe we do something like that. But I think as long as we have that kind of hard stance, and I think we'll always have that kind of hard stance, you'll have those people that are zealots, and just believe blindly that their way is the way. And I can't say that I'm probably a whole ton different, other than I just don't I don't the religion that I follow doesn't say kill all the Muslims or kill all the Buddhists or Krishnas.
It's
Krishnas would be
a
an interesting one to try to take out.
it's a I feel like it's a matter of tolerance too, right?
It
Like
is.
some other religions are not as tolerant to others as
That's right.
you know what I mean?
That's
It's
right.
I don't know. We could spend hours on this conversation. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Just the whole basis behind it. Like obviously the whole conflict to begin with is an extremely big thing right now because the world is divided on this whole thing, this whole
Right.
situation. Um, but it's a I feel like it's a totally different style of conflict. When it
It
comes
is.
comparison to hey, you came in and attacked our country. Now
Right.
we have to rebuttal, or
Right
now we
now
have
we
to like neutralize the threat.
Right. It's not a territorial difference like you said. It's not like the wars we've had over the last probably 100 years, even though we talk about Germany as, they were killing all the Jews and they were, all of that. On top of creating this Aryan nation,
Hold on. Hitler killing all the Jews was genocide. It was not just a matter of religious beliefs as much as it was hey, we're going to kill a
and
whole
and
a
that's what
whole
I was
race of
getting
people.
to is they weren't just killing the Jews. They were killing black people. They were killing anybody that
That's
was
true.
different.
Yeah, it was
That wasn't
a whole
that
anything
wasn't
out
blonde hair,
anybody
blue eyes
outside of their yeah
for the
anybody
most
outside
part.
of their specific
Right.
race and so
And so
forth.
that's what I was getting to is that it wasn't only that though, but they were also taking over other countries. They had
Right.
spread, their territory was expanding over Poland and over, going towards Italy and all of that. And so, it even though that we had that, it's still a different battle because it's more over the religious, your religious belief, your faith, than, and you just think about how centered, how deep rooted your faith is. If you don't build a center of something in your life, then you're bound to, just live a life of feeling like you're not a part of something. If you feel like you're just kind of a ship in the wind or something like that you're not like, and so to have some kind of base premise, you have to kind of build some kind of central belief system, whether that's based on a religion, whether that's based on doing good, whether that's based on whatever. It has to, you have to have some kind of belief where you're going to you're not going to live a great existence. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess regardless, I agree with that because I feel like regardless of whether it's centered around a religious belief or whether it's just centered around your own moral beliefs, everybody has some
right.
sort of moral compass to themselves that they've built their life around, and it's such a interesting thing now with the way society has evolved over the years, especially just in U.S. culture and stuff, and how things have changed so much in the last 30 plus years. Um,
Right.
for me specifically, just seeing how people now have developed their own moral compass on how they're going to live their own lives.
Right.
I don't know. It's a thing I'm pretty intrigued by, just because it doesn't. It's not always a specific religious belief, but it's somehow there are people that don't have any kind of religious background whatsoever. However, they still have their own specific beliefs or moral compass that they center their life around, so to speak.
Yeah, it's
Maybe that would
definitely
be another whole and a deep thought that we could spend hours on too. I don't know.
yeah, and I mean it's definitely a thing that you can spend hours on. I mean it's a philosophical debate, and I don't know how many people anymore are into going into the philosophical debates, but you know,
Jay Boots is over there like, no, we don't want to go down that rabbit
let's
hole.
not
That
go
one is
down
too
this
deep.
rabbit hole.
Well, everyone has their
Well,
own truth. People walk around saying, "Well, my truth is this," and that's what they
right.
believe.
Well, and what gets me is my
So there's no point in
truth.
that philosophical. There's no point in waxing philosophical because everyone says, "Well, my truth is this," and you're just like, "Okay." I mean, that's all you can say. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
a bigot or a fascist or something fun.
I really enjoy doing those things. So
He says, or something fun.
something fun. Right. Yeah, I enjoy those things. I mean, it's fun to be those things. So,
I mean, just to throw a wrench in it every once in a while. I just
right.
pretty
I
close-minded.
love the saying my
Blinder
truth
on view.
my truth is this, and I'm like, your
Right.
truth, like truth doesn't have a mine or yours attached to it. It is the truth or it is not. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, is that
So
all you had for
yeah.
tonight?
So if you're on
About
Twitch,
34 minutes on
then
that, I'm sure.
great to see you. If you were on Facebook or YouTube, you're gone. Can't see you no more. So we already kicked you.
If you want a deep conversation for 45 minutes of political and
right.
and
You literally
wartime
got
cultural differences.
right. You literally just got the one article. You didn't even get anything on Facebook funny other than if there's a few laughs. We made war as funny as it could be. We made a holy war as funny as it could be. I mean, we're not throwing the holy hand grenade of Antioch or anything, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Brother Maynard carries it.
if we do get to that point, all them pointy, things will be dead.
All I had to say is
So,
suck to suck.
so all right. So let's leave that situation for just now. I'm sure we'll get back to it next week. But are you talking about croconuts migrating?
I'm still over here digging, I don't know if you know me, but I'm a pretty big guy.
I'm
so
not
still
dead
over here
yet.
You can go for a walk.
Feeling much better.
I feel happy.
Man, we're gonna get copyright infringement on that now. All right, so
It's just the Brit.
on top of the confusion of this war and who's right, who's saying the truth, and that, we also have an issue in the House of Representatives.
Should we bring Dr. Phil in for this?
We
Do it.
Catch me outside.
Listen, if you can't get in agreement,
you're talking about the big White House, not
the
in
big
the House.
yes,
Okay,
the
my
House,
bad.
the Speaker of the House.
All right, yeah,
So,
back to that. How many votes now?
So Scalise, Scalise got 100 and some votes, which wasn't anywhere close to what he needed. So Scalise stepped aside, like 2 votes in, Jim Jordan decided he took the reins. He got there, he got to 200 votes, and then on Tuesday he got 199 votes. So he's going backwards, pissed someone in Cheerios. And
I was
then
just gonna say that, like, who did he tick off?
yeah, because they're doing one vote a day. They could do 85 votes if they wanted to in one day if they really wanted to. But
we get paid by the hour.
right, that's it.
Why
We
speed
get
it
paid by
up?
the hour. So he said last night, okay, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna be in the race. I'm here to be in the race. And then this morning he quit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody dug up some dirt and said, "Hey, you keep running. We're going to release this, etc., etc." I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. Have
I
you
don't.
guys ever watched, one of those mobster movies or the
Yeah.
drug dealer movies or shows that, everybody's got to
Right.
get dirt on everybody? That's
Right.
what it reminds me of, that whole situation.
It does. And
I was reading a thing today about it. Like, all of a sudden, out of the middle of nowhere,
he
bye
quit.
bye.
Yeah. And so they're like, and yeah, I don't understand why, if they really are serious about doing something for the country, why they're not, which obviously there's my answer. But if they were really serious about, anything, then they would all band together like all of the Democrats have band together. Am I missing something? How hard is it to organize a couple hundred people and then you go and you put out the freaking Democrats have done this. They put out articles and they have the same talking points. They have 7 news organizations. They get all together and they all say the same exact thing, even though it's stupid as heck. I mean, it's the stupidest thing that they've ever said, but they all mumble. They've all had a brain aneurysm. It seems like they've all had, they're all
There we did
about
again. We isolated a whole nother group.
as.
So,
But
can I say this?
yeah, probably.
I probably shouldn't. What it reminds me of is like an episode of Survivor. Like, it's legitimately one of those things where, like, well, so and so colluded with so and so is in cahoots with so and so.
Yeah.
So now you have to vote this way because of this and this and everybody's on the same page, but not
It
everybody's
is.
on the same
It's
page.
exactly
We're doing
that. You've
this
hit
because
it.
it benefits so and so.
Because one team is always organized and they're always voting together. And then you've got another team.
Not it.
You've got another team that is not organized and they're just being picked off willy-nilly.
Do you think one side is not organized because
they're idiots?
I can't even say this with a straight face. I was gonna say they're still free thinkers. I don't think anybody that's involved in the voting process whatsoever is a free thinker anymore. Maybe there's the few, like maybe a dozen people are sprinkled in there on both sides, kind of thing. But the rest of them, it's like no.
I mean,
Hey,
I think when you enter,
you should think that or what?
when you enter the first people who the first year you're there, you're a free thinker.
Right, it's the young ones, right?
then you get indoctrinated, and then you get loaded up, and then people they find dirt on you, or they just tell you if you don't follow us, we'll get you out of here. We'll get your base.
It goes back to that. The not the bribery and screaming or scheming thing, right?
That's what it feels like. I mean, if it's not,
When you
then
were
this is
13, you vandalized the principal's office.
right.
This will make public news if you don't.
You dressed
vote
as
this
a
way.
black football player when you were 12. He was your favorite football player. You're definitely a racist.
Right. Because all of us stayed in our race when we picked our our favorite sports athletes and so forth
Right.
growing up. Right. Like,
Right.
I mean, maybe again, it goes back to that whole rabbit hole that we were talking about earlier. You know, maybe some people stuck within their compasses of, whatever racial divide or whatever. But all I know is I loved Sammy Sosa when I was in my my early teens.
Dude's white now.
You know,
It's cool.
Take that, Aunt
Have you-
Jemima.
Have you seen him? He has literally bleached himself so bad that he now looks white. Sammy Sosa, this super black guy from the Dominican Republic, now is white. Look it up.
Michael Jordan. I'm sorry,
All right,
no, Michael Jackson. I mean,
Yeah.
the wrong
He's
Michael.
whiter.
You know?
He's whiter than Michael Jackson. I mean,
Wasn't Michael
no.
Jackson actually receiving treatments for
Yes.
for pigmentation? Like,
Yeah.
look at the Jackson 5. When he was in the Jackson 5, he was black. Like, I mean, like I'm not making this racial, but
Right.
he was black. Like, and there was
Yeah.
no discussion, but overdose, medicated, whatever the case may be, possibly a Tupac or a Notorious B.I.G. situation. When he got to that point, he was very much wait a second, black, white, I don't know, Caucasian, whatever. Maybe he's a
Right.
mix of both. There was confusion there. Just saying, there was no confusion when he was in Jackson 5.
Right. Well, here
Again,
you
another
go.
rabbit hole.
Here is
Holy crap! Yeah, that is a big difference. I think it's just a filter they put over the picture.
I wish it was. I wish it was.
Maybe it's just years and years of doping. I don't know.
I don't know. He's receiving the same
Doping, does doping change your race? Side effect that they've now found out. Jay's over there like, please. Maybe it works in reverse for you.
He is applying a bleaching cream to his skin.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
This isn't a real thing. No, this is like
he
a
said
fake
it is
TV
not.
article.
He is not trying to look like the late Michael Jackson, nor is he suffering from a skin infection. And adding to that change-colored skin
Some other
is not a byproduct
other
of alleged. And here it is. It is not a byproduct of his alleged steroid use. It
That
is
disclaimer
a
in there.
bleaching cream.
Just cut that one off right there. Oh man!
He said it's a cream that he uses to soften his skin, but has bleached him.
I would
Yep.
love to peel
How
back the
much
layers
do
of
you
that
use?
mind. What'd you say, Jay?
How much is he using that it bleached his skin?
Oh,
much.
yep.
Too much is the answer. Too much.
Apparently.
Oh, how do we even
Do you
get
think he
here?
was upset that he never had a sunburn like an Irish redhead? It's like I want to experience this.
I want to
this
experience a
portion
sunburn
that
for
I
myself.
feel like it's what's that? You get
I
sunburned.
want to
Sunburned by
experience a
Allison
sunburn. I want to know what sun is. I want you to show me.
Oh, well, there's another copyright infringement that we've pressed on tonight.
That's right. Oh, I definitely didn't sing it well enough to get a copyright infringement.
Right.
You were just sampling.
Most people
You were
didn't
just
even pick
sampling
up
for us.
what song you were talking about. It wasn't recognizable enough.
Right, it probably isn't. Oh man, yeah. So the plan is now. I was just gonna go right back to it. The plan is now to make What's that?
Go back. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just going back to
Thanks
it.
for bringing it back full circle here.
Yeah. The Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry, not Patrick Henry, the old yeah, Patrick
We got you.
McHenry, Republican from North Carolina's 10th district, is they're going to expand his current limited powers to resume legislative business. So, I mean,
So
like,
you're
why don't we
saying
just
there's
why don't we just vote him into Speaker of the House and be done with it? And just like, there isn't that many more days until we have a new house. Anyhow,
shall
it's
we
40.
move on?
It's
What you're
like 45
saying?
days. Yeah, it's like 45 days. Like, just get
Right.
something done. Let's fight. Let's decide what we're doing with Israel and Hamas. Like, not with Israel. Like, are we going to go to battle with them or something?
We're in the fourth
Or
quarter, ladies and gentlemen.
right, right. And
Oh,
let's go home for the holidays. Because 90% of this last bit is going to be the holidays anyway, and they're not going to do anything. So,
nobody really does anything from easily mid-November all the way into January.
right. I mean, I'm going to start putting up my Christmas lights here at the end of October, so that I don't have
They're
to do it
already
in the
doing Christmas
ice.
specials and stuff on Hallmark and stuff. So, you know.
See, I'm behind. We got to get this done.
What are you waiting on? It's already October.
I got some people have
Jay's
started.
already got covered. I don't know if you noticed in the background. Jay's already got
Somebody
covered
started
with the
weddings and
license
crap.
unicorn Christmas tree.
People are doing things.
Jay's like, I'm steps ahead of you.
I'm a couple steps ahead of you. So, yeah. So, on to more depressing news. Did you see that Jordan Vandersloot finally admitted that he killed that girl, Natalie
I
Holloway,
did not.
2005? Yeah. It's not one that, like, I've seen it a couple times, like this whole like murder deal, like this girl went overseas and these guys were overseas, and there was like this vacation, like this spring break deal, and the girl never came back, and
Party
they're
going
like,
on.
yeah, they're and it seemed like this trust fund kid, just messed some things up, and all that good stuff.
I vaguely remember. See, it's been so long now that I vaguely remember that happened. Like
Right.
when you first said the name, I was like, all right,
Why
that
does that
sounds
sound
familiar.
familiar? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
Um, yeah, I mean that's what it took him
it's 2005, so it's almost 20. It's
18
18
years.
years. Yeah.
It's like 17, 18 years now that it took him
Right.
to finally crack the case, huh? He
Right.
finally
Well,
admitted it. I mean, that's a long time to hold on to something though, too. So, you know.
I guess he got in trouble in Peru, surprisingly, right? He got in trouble in
Yeah,
Peru, and then so he has a 28-year sentence in Peru for separate charges. And then he basically started to extort the mother of Natalie. Yeah, he asked her for 20. He said, if she gave him $25,000, then he would give her the coordinates of where her body was. And then she had to give him $225,000 after that. Additional after they discovered it.
if he's in jail for 20 plus years, what is that? I mean, I guess, 20 years down the road now. I mean, how old is the guy? I'm trying to think about that now.
He was only 18 and he was only 18 or 19 or 20 back in 2005. So he's still be. I mean, now it's been 20 years, and if he's got 20 years on the other side of this, that's
So
he'll be
he's
60.
35, 36, right?
Yeah, now.
And he's got an
So,
additional 20 plus years.
well,
Yeah,
and that they just,
it's a
yeah,
retirement fund, right? That's what he's
they
looking to
actually,
add to.
well, they just sentenced him to 20 years in prison for the extortion. So they brought him
Oh
back
man,
to the U.S. They extradited him to the U.S. Got him for the 20 years and on the extortion. They've got a plea deal that he's signing this week, or that he signed this week, to plead guilty.
but shorten his sentence, I'm sure, to where he's
Obviously,
going to go
yeah,
home to like
probably.
75 or something instead of
Um,
80 or 90. You know,
yeah, it probably
it,
gives him a chance of getting out for good behavior.
it's oh yeah, it's still so wild to me. You know, I still so wild to me. First off, again, it's been 17, 18 years since that whole situation happened, and then I mean the dude's got some cojones on him because like 20 some years later, or I'm
Right.
sorry, 18 years later, and
18
then
years
looking
later.
at a 20 some year sentence and so forth, and then the additional extortion and everything else on that.
Right.
He should have been a politician.
I mean,
Just
he probably could have gotten away with it.
right,
Other than his last name isn't Kennedy, but
right,
probably
or
could have gotten away with it.
or something along those lines. You know, Reagan.
Or something that rhymes with Linton.
Listen,
Listen.
screw it. I was gonna say, listen, we don't want to eliminate another demographic of our.
I mean, I think they're part of another demographic that we released today or so.
That's true. That's
So,
true. Oh man, it's a wild
yeah,
world, man. It's a wild world we live in.
it is definitely
It
not for the faint of heart. So,
right. Jay's on the move.
but J Boots on the moving.
What else you got?
So, social media platform X, which I hate this, like be social media platform X, and stop putting on everything formerly known as Twitter, because by now everyone has to know that you're now a porn site instead of a bird tweeting at things.
you know, So the other day, all right, I don't. I mean, I use a lot of searches and stuff on other formats or other search engines and stuff. The other day, I brought up I think I was on. Let's not name the corporation, but I was on another search format or search engine,
Yeah.
and it brought up like the most common or whatever, and I saw X on there, and I was like, "Holy crap, what's this?" Like, wait a second, what did I
Did I
click
go to
on?
the wrong thing? What
Right.
searches am
And I
I
was like,
going into?
"Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Formerly known as Twitter, so
Right.
it's come in handy. However, I'm still not. Yeah, I'm still not real real comfortable with it being called X instead of Twitter. It
Yeah,
was the birth for so long.
right. Like, I don't know. I don't know why X is better than Twitter. I mean, I, I don't know. Anyhow,
Give it to
social
you.
media platform X are going to test charging new unverified users $1 per year as a pilot program beginning in the Philippines and New Zealand. Basically, the company says it's an effort to combat bots. Would you pay $1 a year to be on X? Which sounds like
I
you're on
think
a drug.
right, right, commonly known as ecstasy. Um,
You said that
uh,
with a little too much zing.
no, it's a song. I was referring to the song.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah, that's it's. I am drug free, guys. So, um, I don't even know why I felt like I had to, preface this. Anywho,
That's that judgment that you've been trying to.
yeah. Now I feel judged. I feel like the fingers are. Yes. So, would you pay for a social media platform like that? That's what it really comes down to. Is are we getting to that point to where you would pay for a specific social media platform? I mean, think about how we've used it for so many years now. I mean, from 2000, early 2000s and MySpace era to what it's evolved into now. There's so many different platforms now that are free. Um,
Right.
so to get to that point now, that would you even if it's $1 a year or whatever, but it's almost similar to the streaming platforms too. Netflix and stuff used to be $7.99
Yeah,
a
like
month to get the
right,
physical
$2
DVDs
or
and stuff.
$3. Yeah.
Right. Whatever it was, and then it got to be where it was like $10 a month or whatever for Netflix. Now it's all the way up to $20 a month now for streaming capabilities. So do you think that that's the direction that social media is going to go, or and also would you have we gotten to that point as a society that we're going to start paying for social media platforms? That's my question in this whole thing with
I guess it
Twitter now becoming X, and
I guess it
I
comes
see
down
the
to
benefit of paying for it, to eliminate bots, but also I don't want to pay for something that other people are just sharing their thoughts on. I guess I don't know.
I'm not paying for other people's thoughts. Which, well, all right. Well, we're out. See you guys later.
Well, crap. I'm just gonna exit the stage left.
um, I mean, this
You
being
know
our
what I'm getting at, though.
our 49th
Social
episode,
media is
and
a whole
we're
different
we're
thing.
we're announcing some big announcements on our 50th episode next week. Um,
Subscribe
but
to become a premium member.
that's right. That's exactly. Yeah.
Just a small fee of a
Um.
dollar a year.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm getting at, though. If it
Yeah.
leads
I
that
guess
direction,
it.
I feel like that's what it's opening the door for.
I guess it depends on what you get for that dollar, like, or what you get for the fee. Like, there are some like that to like even Twitter to be verified. I mean, we're not a verified account on Twitter because it costs what, like $4 or $5 a month to be verified or whatever. And as a small business, as a small organization, we can't afford that, honestly. I mean, as little as that seems, when you add it to the hosting fees, when you add it to the fees it costs to, run a studio, to work, and they want to give you a penny per download on your podcast, and then so you're looking at any way to save money, any way to, figure out a buck to come in yourself, and then you're trying to send that buck back out to a company that, doesn't help you advertise. Like, they're not like, if I were verified, I'd get a little blue dot for that
The
four
blue
dollars
dot.
a yeah, for that $4 a month. I'm not getting, boosted up on servers. I can spend that $4 a month on, anything. Like, I could buy more website names. I could, we could buy, all kinds of different things for that $4 a month. And then if it was, so if it's a dollar a year, I mean, that's probably not all that much. That's just like $1 a year, and you just go on. But like you said, there's a reason why I don't have Netflix anymore.
Right.
Just continue to raise and raise and raise, and you don't add any kind of value to your platform, or any kind of value to your product. Then I don't care. I'm out. I don't have to have
Right.
you for a status symbol. I mean, I don't have Netflix, guys. I'm sorry for not being
Well,
a
crap.
fully upstanding citizen. you know
Well, I have 3 accounts.
There you go.
Send me that password.
Honest Abe, saving it for the
Don't
rest
worry,
of us.
I'll send you the password after we get off of here.
But yeah, so I guess it depends on what they're providing. Like if you, like you said, if they're knocking bots off, if they're going to actively attack bots, and that dollars saves us from. I mean, I've had 2 accounts taken out of Twitter because of being hacked and then botted. So
There's too many Chef Aarons out there.
yeah,
What,
one of them
what
was
about you,
one of them
Jay?
was
Would
a
you pay? Go ahead, sorry.
no, I was gonna say one of them was a Why I'm Angry account even.
Oh, geez. Nobody wants to know why you're angry, Aaron.
Probably not. Probably not.
What about you, Jay? Would you pay $1 a year to have access to? I mean, I'm not on Twitter. I don't really follow Twitter. I'm sorry, X. I'm not on X. I don't really follow X, etc., etc. Would you pay $1 to be on? Say it was Instagram or Facebook or whatever the case may be. Would you pay $1 a year to verify your account on there? Um,
Yeah.
okay then. I was like,
I
is he
mean,
gonna
probably
respond?
in the grand scheme of things, I would pay $1 to get rid of a lot of hacking and bots.
Right, right. I'm just curious if it's going to open that door. Say
But
say
how
that
do they, how do they swear by that? I mean, they say, it'll be bot free, ad free. How do they actually implement that?
it's all a rouge.
Well, I mean, they can't 100%. I mean, there are people that can create the accounts, pay $1, and then throw a bot on the account.
Russia.
Russia, Russia, Russia.
I mean, hypothetically, sure. I mean, I'd pay upwards of maybe even $4.
A year.
My year.
But
Well, and that's
Yeah.
but my I guess what I was really getting at is I mean $1 a year. Hey, most people can stand $1 a
Doing that.
year. Um, but if it comes to the point to where it turns into a subscription thing where
It's
we
a
have
dollar
to
a month.
start, yeah, $1 a month. Now it's $12 a year. It's and then say you're paying $1 a month for multiple social medias now, or whatever the case may be.
Well, and that's what it's
Um,
come to on
does it turn
TV
into
is you said, oh, cable's so expensive. It's like $180 or $120 a month or whatever you spend, because I've seen people spend upwards of $500 a month, which I don't understand. But
all the
all the channels I can watch with 2 eyeballs.
TVs?
are there other countries that are doing this right now?
Well, that's what they're doing. You were off, getting resituated, but they're setting this up in Philippines and New Zealand to start, to test it.
And we're
So
sure we want to stick with these as countries.
these these are the countries that they've decided, I guess.
We could just get rid of them.
We're starting with New Zealand and Philippines
We're
to
we're not
for
attacking it.
these
This is not a war here.
trial.
We're not starting a holy war or anything here. This is just a
The
dollar
trial period
subscription
for
for a
the most
year.
rain in the world. I feel like.
I mean,
I
they're
wonder how they got to the
similarly
point
close.
of deciding that it was going to be New Zealand and what was the other one again? New
Philippines,
Zealand,
the Philippines.
Philippines. Like,
I think
is
I
there a large, or maybe it has to be a large enough a large enough account or a large enough market to, or maybe it's because those markets have been flooded with bot
I was
accounts.
gonna say I wondered if they were the highest bot ground countries, which doesn't seem like a technical term, but is good enough for us tonight. But
I still feel like Russia has been proved
Right.
or proven.
They should test it in Russia.
Right, right. Then again, what's to stop them from paying that dollar a year and then
And
setting
then
up a
bot
bot
it, yeah,
after?
then setting the bot, yeah. That's what I said is what, at $1 a year, yeah, you're going to get the weakest of bot people or the AI bots basically that are set to set up another bot to set up another bot to set it, that kind of thing. But yeah, it doesn't say that why they chose those countries, but I would guess it's either a combination of they have a high bot output or they they also are small enough that if they alienate that population that they are not losing a high percentage of their population or of their followers on Twitter or X.
You mean their business scheme
Yes.
was better than ours? Alienating, certain cultures or
We
demographics. Sorry, I'm
we
gonna exit.
surprisingly Chef Aaron surprisingly has quite a few followers from the Philippines. At one point I had plenty of people asking me to come to the Philippines to do demonstrations for them.
It's because you
Somehow
cut up the pineapple real nice.
somehow my account got set as that I lived in the Philippines for a little while. Not sure how that happened, but I have a great following in the
Bot.
Philippines. I'm a bot. It's cool.
When I was a
Because you cut
teenager,
up
I worked at a
cut up
fast food
fruit.
restaurant that had me listed as an island Pacificer.
Was that the one you worked for 4 hours?
No, Skyline Chili.
Jay was the real island boy.
He was the real island
The
Pacificer.
original island boy.
You're on island time now.
I'm
Island
why
boy.
why did you show up late? I'm on island time.
I was like, thank you for the
I'm,
Samoa Joe reference.
I'm 3 hours behind you. What are you talking about? I'm right on time.
Oh man.
It's such an
Yeah.
interesting thing to see how things are going. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but like I was saying with the TV stuff. It started out you just got a couple different programs, you got to watch the shows whenever you want, you just didn't get to watch them live. And so you spent like $20 and you could cut cable.
YouTube.
Now, yeah, it was Hulu, Netflix, Now you can cut cable, you can spend 65 or upwards on an actual live program site and like YouTube TV or one of those others, Direct or whatever. And
Hulu, Peacock,
and then
all of
you
them. Yeah.
add and then when you start adding Hulu and those things back in, then you're back to close to $100 again.
What's frustrating to me now, and it's college football time, right?
Right.
Maybe not to go down this rabbit hole, but we're gonna go down it anyways because
We
it's
might
something.
as well. We're only on
Right.
our fourth
Three
article.
3 hours later.
we're we're an hour and 15 minutes in on our fourth article, so might as well
All
go.
right. Hey, what are you gonna do with the rest of your life? So
Not pay for social media people's opinions.
so to keep on track of my thought here, I think.
You're
Um,
good.
oh, shoot, I feel like I just lost it.
It's college football
Oh,
season.
so yeah, it's college football season, right? And to keep up with like my specific teams and stuff, go blue. Um, it's interesting to see now to whether you're watching it on a lot of my actual yeah, there you go. to watch a lot of my stuff. I've been out and busy on Saturdays and so forth, so I've tried to
Right.
bring it up on my phone or iPad or whatever the case may be, to keep up with the games and so forth. because I try not to sit still for too long. But a lot of
Those
it's
dry
been through
bones.
streaming. What's that?
Those dry bones.
Right, right. So, but a lot of it's been through streaming and stuff this year, and you see so many of the games now that have, or I shouldn't even say games, but like there's so many of the weeks now that are set up through contract to where people or to I shouldn't even, I don't know why I'm saying people, but where colleges and um, channels have made agreements with certain streaming services. So like a big one right now is like Fubo
Yeah.
TV and so forth, and Hulu and Peacock, and Amazon is doing Thursday night, football and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point now where it's frustrating because you feel like you have to have four different streaming services to be able to keep up with, and like we have cable and so forth, but on any given Saturday, if it's not showing up on, if it's showing up on Fox, but it's not showing up on this or that or whatever,
Yeah.
I feel like the streaming services now has gotten to that point to where like, okay, everybody has an average of three streaming services now that they're paying for. It might be anywhere from $10 to $30 a month that they're paying
Right.
for this service, and you're getting back to that point of where cable used to cost 60 to
Yeah.
$100 a month. Well, now between three streaming services, you're paying 50, $60 a month or so on average. And you're like, well,
Right.
crap. Should I just get cable again?
Right. Because all like cable will get like you can sign into all of these apps with a cable provider
Right, right,
and get at least what's on your cable provider. I mean, I
right,
haven't seen a Chicago Bears game all season because they've been on Fubo, like you said, Fubo
right, right.
all season.
Michigan,
Yeah.
it's like it's been every other week. It seems like they've been on Fubo. Um,
Yeah.
versus because like the Fox Sports streaming Fox Sports is almost like
Yeah, luckily I have the YouTube TV and so I can, stream it through that even, but
right,
otherwise I'd be hooking my antenna up and plugging her in
right.
and
And there's no all-encompassing streaming service anymore. It seems like
yeah.
one
Yeah.
week you're on this one week you're on this one. First week it was on Peacock. The second week it was on Fubo, and you're like, well,
Right.
shoot, now.
Right.
Anyways, that was
And it's
just a
all
thought of my mind.
and and I guess I kind of I've said this about a lot of different things is eventually the channel itself will control everything. And you probably, you'll have a like a Roku style box that will bring everything into one spot so that you can see it seamlessly. Kind of like they try to do with Xfinity and stuff like that on the
Right.
Sonys and that
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
and things, but and you won't have there won't be an option of cable or satellite anymore because there's no reason. A generation of boomers will have died and there won't be anybody that cares about being on a cable system anymore. But
Listen, we can't talk about killing off a generation
we're we're
or
not
or
we're
a
not
generation
killing
after.
off the generation. COVID's killing off the generation. I mean, they're
The
just
generation is killing
meeting
itself off. Is that what
they're
you're
just
saying?
meeting their end.
Say what you mean and mean what you
some,
say. Come on.
somehow they're just meeting their end, whether it's synthetically or not.
What do you
um,
think? I'd be curious to see what the average person actually has as far as streaming services now.
I bet I would bet it's over 3, but maybe not. But that if it is only 3, it's held down by an older generation out there that's still holding on to cable and that.
I feel like I'm probably the worst example of this because I feel like I have every streaming service that I pay for, and I just see it randomly go through. Where it's like, oh, okay, there's there's Peacock, there's Hulu, there's you know I've got to have
It's
Red Bull TV for all the extreme sports. I have to have Motor
Right.
Trend, it's only $5.99 a month. By the time you
It's
get done with it, you have a dozen streaming services that all average anywhere from $5 to $20 some a month, and you're like, well, crap, I'm paying $200 a month for streaming services at this point.
and that's it. That's what it is. It's basically, I think it's kind of a thing of, we were travelers, and we want to make sure that we can still enjoy the few minutes that we could sit down and see what we wanted to see.
Right,
you know,
right.
because you don't know what each hotel or what each whatever had. And so I think for us, that's part of the issue. But then I looked it up. It's 5.2 services for each household now.
It's like that 2.5 kids.
Right,
You can
right.
have
So I
half a
think the
kid.
point two services is like you share Hulu or
Right, right. Yeah, no,
right.
I've said that. Haley and I have talked for the longest time um, about, yeah, we should get together. I guarantee, like, I know that Haley pays for a Netflix account. I pay for a Netflix account. We live in the same house. Like, why can we not just get on the same page to where one of us is paying $20 a month instead of both of us paying? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's I'm just a
And
terrible human when it comes to that stuff.
I actually, until probably 4 or 5 years ago, me and Allison were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and like, we've been married for 15 years now, and for 10 of it, we probably both had the same streaming service, or one of us had Hulu and one of us had,
Yeah.
and we both had Netflix or something like stupid like that.
We
And
just
it's
need
like,
to all get on. It's funny. Sorry, not to cut you off. It
no,
made me think of we were talking about like cultural differences and stuff earlier,
yeah,
and how like U.S. is one of the only U.S. Genuinely, I should say like North America, but like U.S. and North America is one of the only cultures in the world that that extended family does not live with like all in one house, right? So it's
right.
one of that. It made me think of that, and I've brought this up multiple times. Not that I want to live with my extended family. No offense to any of my family. It's one of those
I don't
things though
understand.
that like brothers, sisters, nieces,
Right,
nephews, etc., all grow up in the same house with the parents, and that's a
right, and
very big thing.
grandparents and
Other, what's that?
grandparents and yeah, everybody, yeah,
Right. Right. It's a very big thing in other cultures, but here in the U.S. culture, it's like no. As soon as you're 18, get out and blaze that trail. It's like
get out, get on your own,
get your own streaming services.
get your own crap going, right.
But we all just get on one page. Just get on the same
Well,
page, and
I
we
mean,
all
that's
just
kind of
buddy up. The buddy
the
system,
cool thing about like some of the streaming services have like actually embraced that. Some of them, like, they don't care about you one bit,
like family
but
plans and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but like some of them, like YouTube TV is kind of cool because you can get up to 5 different subscribers. Like
Right.
you can have 5 different accounts on that same account.
Well, a lot of them are that way too. Even with, I mean, think about like even with Peacock, Netflix, et cetera. Like a lot of them,
Right,
you can have profiles, right? So
right, different profiles.
I
So if you
know
all
I
had
know their original meaning is probably to have it all in one household,
in one
but
house, yeah,
who's to know? Who's to know that Papa Bear is the head of the family, and everybody
right,
underneath that is what I mean, and everybody's just
yeah.
pitching in $2 a month, or everybody else has the responsibility of another streaming service. I don't
Well,
know.
everybody, when Netflix announced that they were going to start
They
cutting
just
people's
eliminated the streaming services from our, our audience,
right,
by the way.
well, yeah, anybody named Papa Bear is now pissed. Um, you just called them out on national TV or on a national podcast. Yeah, we're not on national TV, but we are on Twitch nationally.
Same, similar,
So it's
not the
close.
same.
We're really close. Um, I mean, all like 1.5 viewers right now. But anyhow,
These guys are so random.
so yeah, but It's like that though. When everybody was like, "Oh, what are they going to do? They're going to track you down by they're going to put a tracker in your code or whatever." And I'm like, "No, they're just going to check your IP address on your login. That's it.
Right.
It's not hard. All they got to do is check the IP address and see that your original IP address and this IP address is not the same. They kick the one off.
Right.
They hold you down to one IP address. And then if you travel, they see, oh, nobody else is on that IP address at home. There must be traveling. It's not that hard.
They
It's
don't.
not
They
like
don't do that. Though.
there's nothing sinister about it.
But it's funny because you brought that up, the whole like if they're traveling and stuff, and
Right.
or IP addresses and stuff like that. It makes me think of like credit cards and stuff for traveling for work.
Right.
And I could be in 2 different countries in a matter of just days, and multiple different states and so forth, and then get home and drive a couple hours and get gas, and they'd flag my card and say, "Hey,
In
hello,
Detroit.
what are you doing?" This is out of the normal, and I'm like, I was just in 2 different countries, 5 different states, et cetera, that I used the card the whole last week. But
Right.
you
But you
want
flagged me
to
from 2 hours from my
you
house.
want to flag me? Yeah, you want to flag me in my home state, 2 hours away from home.
Right. Yeah. No, they used to be a lot worse on that, like because I traveled around the country and stuff also, and they would flag me like I'd make some dumb purchase for something, and I'd be flagged on this purchase, and then I wouldn't be have any money for the rest of the week. Like no, don't like you can't take all my money.
You just locked up my card for a
Right.
$3.95 purchase
Right. It
at
would
a
be something
Travelers.
stupid like that. Like I grabbed like in 2 hours time I grabbed a soda here, and then I grabbed like a candy bar at another gas station down the road because I was driving a Lincoln Navigator that got like 4 miles a gallon.
Right.
And so every 2.5
But
hours
map
we
out
had
these
to,
purchases. It makes sense.
right, right. If you knew where I was going. So
All right. So what else?
all right.
We went down that
So
rabbit hole pretty deep.
yeah, Russia. I didn't think that one was going to take us down a rabbit hole, but whatever. Russian President Vladimir Putin, uh, Jay Boots' best friend, lauds China's Belt and Road Initiative during his visit to Beijing this week, invites global investment into the Northern Sea. This one I was really more in on. Like, do we see that Russia, China, Iran kind of all holding hands at this point? Like just hey, maybe some red flags here, that kind of thing. Let's go on.
You know what they say though. Guys love red flags.
Guys.
Leave it to a guy to screw it up. Red flag,
Right.
what?
Huh?
Yep.
That's why they don't throw red flags on the football field. Unless it's a challenge.
Right.
The Biden administration announces new sanctions tied to Iran's ballistic missile and drone program. As the UN Security Council restrictions expired today.
Red flag.
And more red flags. Iran-backed military Islamic resistance claims responsibility for 3 drone attacks on U.S. military bases in Iraq yesterday.
All right.
Yeah.
Hooray for drones.
Hooray for Iran having no money.
I was trying to keep hooray for drones.
I was trying to keep Iranian people on our podcast. The Pulse nightclub property, the site of the 2016 mass shooting that killed 49 people in Orlando, has plans to become a memorial.
I think that's respectable.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean Orlando doesn't have any parking, but
Fine.
but we're gonna turn.
There's certain things in life you don't describe as fine. That is one of them.
No, it's okay. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care.
You're just digging it deeper. It's okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
Like,
It's not one of the like national monuments that I'm gonna go see.
right,
Like
right. I mean,
I
it's
have
not,
other national monuments that
not relevant.
I would rather go see in front of that. But if I'm in Orlando and I happen to drive by, I'll wave and maybe stop.
Well, you just
If
eliminated off.
if I'm
All
going to
of
Mickey
Florida.
Mouse's house, I
I'm here for Disney.
I'm
Respects.
here for
Also
Disney.
leaving.
But I feel bad for those 49 people who were killed. So
Yeah, I have nothing to say to that. Again, I still stand by the phrase of there are certain things in life you don't decide or you don't describe as fine. It's fine. It's like tattoo artists. Well, they're all right. They're fine.
he's fine. I mean, how good is he? He's
He's
fine.
decent. He's okay.
He's
It's like you're living with this for the rest of your life. It is fine.
right.
It'll do.
It's a lifelong thing. French authorities link a school stabbing that killed a teacher to Islamic extremism. So when I read this, I thought this is big time for the gun rights people and people who think that they can legislate away crime. Like, let's take guns from people. There will be no more killings.
It's a stabbing.
No, in France, you can't have guns.
But I thought you said it was a stabbing.
It is a stabbing. That's what I'm saying. People are still going to die because of Islamic extremism, whether they got guns or not.
You're saying it's for the pro gun people.
Yeah, for the pro gun initiative.
Yeah, I missed that detail.
Yeah, I mean, 3 people were injured and 1 man was killed in a stabbing.
But it's that age old argument of you can't just make everything illegal and expect the crime to go away. You know,
Right.
it's like we could sit here and say that driving drunk is illegal, but it's not gonna save lives on driving drunk, right? Obviously,
Right.
it's
Well, I
illegal.
mean, obviously it's
It still
illegal,
happens.
but yeah, like you said.
What kind of knife was it that the person used?
Oh my gosh, I'm already beyond that.
Here we go again. You know,
I'm
how
trying
big
to.
was it? What size of the blade was it? Serrated? Was it a Tonto cut? Was it a Benchmade? Was it Spyderco? Was it? Sorry, I'm just throwing out names now.
Right.
It wasn't a Kershaw.
I read the article back like
it was a Gerber.
a couple of days. There was definitely a Gerber. It was in France,
Turns
so
out
it was
a
probably
box cutter.
it was a Francois. I mean, that's not stereotypical at all. All right.
Because they'll ban knives, over a certain length.
Well, we
So
learned
you
that anything
have a
over
knife
an inch and a
that's
half in
boring.
California causes cancer.
I
A
was
couple
gonna
weeks
say,
ago.
just a couple weeks ago, we established that anything over an inch and a half, which it's like very much.
Causes cancer.
So
Anybody in California that has more than an inch and a half probably causes cancer too.
you rebel, such an outlaw.
Yeah. All right.
We only
So this is
eliminated a portion of California for that.
California, a small portion.
No pun intended.
Oh man. So 7 months in prison for anti-military meme. Douglas Mackey was found guilty in New York on a federal charge after making memes that encouraged Hillary Clinton supporters to cast their votes via text message. Which is obviously not possible and clearly a joke. There's no evidence that anyone attempted to vote via text message, but this guy is still going to spend 7 months in prison for that.
Rethinking.
Are we freeing thinking now, or are we just proclaiming free thinking? Freely.
Freely thinking or thinking free? I don't know.
Is this the part where we take thinking out of prison?
I mean, I always vote on
we are
Snapchat.
oppressing. We are oppressing thinking.
Snapchatting your votes. Oh,
Snapchat your votes.
well, that's what I've been doing wrong this whole time. I was hashtagging them.
Oh.
Hashtag.
Oh man. Too bad. Too bad.
Oh, the more you know. The more
Honest
you know.
Abe, you got an odds honest truth tonight?
Really not really an odds honest truth. What's been on my mind though the last couple of days is something we touched on before we hopped on here.
Okay.
Was about the brawls in the
Oh,
Charger and Cowboys game, and it was like a dozen plus people all fighting in like the corridor for the stadium.
Yeah.
And then it proceeded on into the stadium,
Into the stadium, yeah.
Into the stands and stuff. And I mean, I know obviously alcohol is probably a huge factor of a lot of this. At the same time, I think we have to remember this is more on a serious note. Sorry, going down this.
No, you're good. We're good. We're good. We got odds news in a second.
But this is more on a serious note of the odds honest truth, because I'm not serious super often, but I've been kind of thinking about this the last couple of days. Is you have got to be kidding me that you take it so serious that you are going to get in an all out brawl, fighting people at a sporting event. And I get like tempers flare and stuff when it comes to like you know smaller events and stuff with parents and this and that, but like you have no weight whatsoever in this game when you're talking about thousands and thousands of fans, and somebody tells you that your team sucks or your team is this or that or whatever. Like you're taking this way too serious to the point to where you're going to get you're going to basically catch a felony because
Right.
somebody dogged your team out. I just think that we all should probably think a little bit about how serious a ball game is versus like how we should probably treat our fellow human. Oh, just
I mean,
a
there
just a
are
thought.
people there are people in Israel right now, fighting for their lives and things like that. There are people here in the U.S. that are hungry and are living in the streets and can't do more than scrap together a few dollars here and there. And we can argue about what that actually is or not or whatever, but we're gonna fight our
Well, there's
fellow
multiple
man
factors.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there's
multiple
plenty
factors
of.
in that. I think it's sad. I just think it's sad that we've gotten here as a society and like humanity in general that we forget that hey, we are still humans, and regardless of what team you root for or I root for or whatever, it's not that serious that we need to knock somebody out and harm somebody because they said, "Well, your team sucks." Like
But
it's just a crazy thing to me recently
but
that it's happening more and more and more, and then you see the magnitude. I don't know if you guys have seen the footage of it, but like the
yeah,
actual
no, it was
footage
crazy.
of it. Yeah, like, and you see random fights and stuff here and there break out, and I know like big riots and other stuff happens in like soccer overseas and that kind of stuff. Like people are passionate, and I
Yeah,
totally respect that. What I don't respect is you harming someone else because they oppose you on your team, like
on
on
in
some team
in
that you root for. It's a
in
game.
something
Like
that
it's
you
not
have
life or
no,
death.
like, you don't have a dog, like you're not actually doing the playing of the game. Like you have no course of the outcome.
Yeah.
You
Like
don't even have a kid in the game.
there
Like,
is nothing that you can do that changes the outcome of the game.
Right. It blows my mind that we've gotten to that point to where like, well, you told me that my millionaire isn't better than your millionaire. Like, come on, guys. Like,
Right.
I don't know. It's
Right. Yeah.
just a thought, just something that's been on my mind the last few days. I've had conversations with multiple people about it, and it just, I don't know. It's just something that I cannot fathom in my head that I'm gonna, fight or knock somebody out or whatever or harm somebody because they're wearing a different. It comes down to the point to where like there were people in that fight, and I'm sure there was somebody that was just like, I just want to punch somebody, so I'm going to jump in the fight.
Right. I mean, it
But at the
became
same
mob
time, it's
mentality
like
then.
right. But at the same time, it's like because you have the opposing team's uniform on, you're going to go and like physically harm somebody. Like
Right. That's
it
that's
just
never.
blows my mind.
I mean,
I can't
even
understand how
even
sport guy.
even when I lived in Pittsburgh and like we we played the Browns, they played the Browns. Like I'm not a huge Pittsburgh fan or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Um, but I lived right next to the stadiums, and so there there were guys coming back from going to classes because I went in when I was in culinary school, and so there were guys that came to class and were like, oh yeah, we beat up these guys and blah blah blah. I'm like like why? Like I understand being passionate about your team, but at the same point, you like I just said, you don't control any of the outcome at all, and so
Meanwhile,
you're
we
gonna
have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah yeah so you're gonna fight somebody over a sports team, but you won't fight over babies being killed every day in abortions and or in Israel because Hamas came and beheaded them, and I mean
It actually made me think about that. Like, that's your line. Like,
right,
your line is
this is
that
the hill you
somebody.
decided to die on.
Right. Like, it's like okay, you have all these other beliefs and everything else in life, but like, this is your line. Is that somebody dissed Prescott or whatever? Like, it's like, are you kidding me? Like,
Right,
come on,
right, right.
It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Was that a
Just an
Cowboys reference? Oh,
hey,
Well,
it
it
was
was
Cowboys for
Cowboys
Chargers.
versus Chargers, so I mean, it would only
Yeah,
be the Cowboys fighting against some other
it's the
team.
Cowboys. Come on.
Right, right,
yeah. I mean, what you're talking about is literally just preference over
right.
conviction. I mean, people just
Like and
prefer a certain thing over than having a set of morals.
Right,
and that's what
right.
I said. Like, what makes you a fan of anything? Like the fact that you prefer the colors, the fact that and so then you go down to what made you a fan, and you think, I just fought a guy over I liked the colors better, or I was born in a certain region and liked that and was close to that team, and so I enjoyed watching that team because you know
It's like the
that
gang mentality too, right?
right.
Like kind of like the Bloods, the Crips, etc., etc. But even less of a dog in the fight, right?
Right, like I uh,
Like you didn't have to go through a whole process to
I
get
didn't go
in
through
and
gang
be involved
initiation. I
with.
didn't have to go like rob some places. I'm not
Right,
having to
right.
make some money or anything. These guys aren't stealing my customers. This like yeah, it's less
It goes back to like
it's
what Jay
definitely
said.
less real life than
Right, but it's like what Jay says. It's like your preference versus your conviction, and that's like you said, that's the hill you're going to die on. Like
right,
that's what you're
right,
going to go to fight for is a team that you prefer because as a kid, I feel like most people, I don't know, maybe it's just in North American culture or whatever, but like most people develop their teams and like figure out who they're going to root for the rest of their life when they're kids, right? I would say
right.
most people. Probably a solid like 80 to 85% or more. That, of course, I just made that up, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean
saying like a solid percentage of people probably pick a team when they're
right,
kids because they like the colors or because they like a certain player or whatever, and then root for them for the rest of their life. But that's what you're gonna fight over. Like there's people that are fighting for their lives in other countries right now you're literally going to potentially take another life because you're a Dallas fan versus a Charger fan or whatever. It
I
blows my
mean, that's
mind.
first world problems, man. I mean, they don't do that in Israel. They're not bombing each other in Israel over football or beating each other
What?
up over football.
Are you sure? I thought that was just it was a soccer match going bad or something.
This isn't this isn't about a soccer match. This
uh, I'm on the wrong podcast. That's
uh
my. It's not really an odd, but that's my honest truth right there.
that's the honest truth. That is a good one. They're saying the average person is around 16 when they form their fandom of their yeah. So I mean, kiddish.
Oh yeah, I mean you're still a kid at 16. You're
Yeah,
still learning life and figuring things out, right?
Well,
yeah,
yeah, my niece became a Kansas City Chiefs fan just now at 16 because of
Look.
Taylor
Kelsey and
Swift.
Tay Tay.
Oh, shut up!
That's so dumb.
Shut up!
So
Your
she's
niece
now
is
a
now on my
Chiefs fan.
blacklist. Okay.
Hey, it's just as good as anyone else's reason for becoming a fan.
No,
Other
it's
than
not.
other
It's
than
not.
I played for
Taylor
the
Swift
team.
isn't even on the team. Like, Taylor Swift isn't even a part of Kansas City Chiefs. That's the problem right now.
That is sad, but it's as good a reason as anyone else chooses to choose a team. Other than I played for the team.
Which is
But she
worse?
lives in our hearts, right, Taylor?
Which is worse? I gotta. Maybe we can put this up as a poll later. Which is worse? Starting to root for a team because one of the players is dating a super
Celebrity.
popular celebrity, or starting to root
Right.
for a team just because you like the colors.
Man, both are super superficial.
I told you it's a pretty good poll.
It's a pretty good poll, actually. Yeah, we need. I need to write that down.
And no, that was not prepared. That was just something off the cuff. Are you literally writing it down?
Yeah, so I remember what we talked about because last time we were going to form some kind of word or following of something. I didn't go back and listen to the podcast, so I don't remember what it was.
You didn't listen to it
This is
after
going to end
you.
up being a 2-hour podcast, so I'm definitely not going back and listening to the whole thing. I might miss it.
And let's be honest, nobody likes to listen to the way they sound or in the recording, right?
Right. Yeah, I definitely am one of those people that's just like, I'll listen to it to get to where I need to go, but I'm probably not going to listen to the whole thing. I've gotten used to my voice sounding stupid, so everyone out there, I'm sorry that I sound so dumb, but you know.
4 years later.
But I got a face for podcasts, and so so on to the odd news that I pulled up. Jay Boots, you got an odd news?
Nope.
Okay. So
You
I
got
didn't want
any
to. I
news?
didn't. What's that?
I said, do you have any news?
I didn't want to be taking over the podcast here or anything, but you know me. This was one I actually found a couple weeks ago. Let's find it. Oh, it's on this. A delivery driver crashes into a pond in Middletown, which is not Middletown, Ohio. It's Massachusetts.
I was gonna say what?
Yeah, in Middletown, Massachusetts, a DoorDash driver drove into a pond in Middletown Friday morning, which was last Friday morning, and the vehicle was towed out of the woods. Emergency crews responded at 11:45 a.m. The neighborhood to the neighborhood to remove the vehicle from the neighborhood pond. Jim Delaney, who lives in the neighborhood, said he was shocked to see a car in the pond. He got a phone call from his wife and said that there was a lady in the swamp behind their house. He rushed home from work. I think it was a swampy pond. I'm sure that they have words for it that like they're just upset about it or something, you know.
Can't say swamp and message.
So what's funny is they didn't even find the guy in the car in the swampy pond thing. They found the guy like a mile and a half away with the delivery order, and the order was dry and ready to be delivered. And he had walked like a mile and a half away from the swampy pond car situation.
You think this is one of those mom seatbelt kind of things? It was like, oh crap, I'm gonna crash. Hold on, let me get the DoorDash.
DoorDash protection. Yeah, yeah.
It's like that. It's like the Domino's commercials where like, if we mess up,
Right, we pay for it. I don't want to pay for it.
This is a marketing opportunity for DoorDash.
Right.
This is how dedicated our DoorDash.
This is how DoorDash. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right?
Yep, that's exactly right. So, yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Good. I guess he was just driving, wasn't looking around too, like wasn't actually paying attention to what he was doing, looking at his phone to see where the directions were taking him, and just right in. I mean, it happens to everybody, right? Yeah.
No.
Definitely.
There's been many times where I've not known where I was going, and I was just following a GPS, and I didn't end up in a pond. I don't know.
I mean, we ended up driving down some railroad tracks once. Not me personally. I was in a car with somebody that drove down some railroad tracks once.
I was gonna say, that was not me.
Actually, twice. Same person. Same railroad tracks.
Again.
Same turn.
Not an everyday occurrence.
That day, it was a twice-a-day occurrence.
Twice in one day.
Twice in one day, yeah. I won't name his name because he might listen.
He's probably not have a license.
You know who you are. So
will forever be unspoken / railroad guy.
Right. Nearly 11-foot crocodile visits a police station.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah, we did in the off hours. I think he was turning himself in from robbing that Wendy's with the guy that threw the crocodile in the window to try to rob the Wendy's.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, an alligator to rob the Wendy's. It's probably him. He's grown up a little bit, and he's now turning himself in, saying he was sorry.
He was an accessory to the robbery.
He was an accessory to a robbery at a Wendy's.
Also, could you call that armed robbery? But bucket of fish.
So this is right up your alley with the odds honest. Golfer has played 450 different courses in under a year. Aims for 500. So this is on Guinness Book of World Records news.
I'm not a professional.
Nah, he's from Bloomfield, Colorado. Koenig. His name is Patrick Koenig. He is aiming to capture the record for the most 18-hole golf courses played in 1 year. And on the 287th day of his attempt, he played his 450th round of golf at Omni Interlaken in Bromfield, Colorado. The record was 449. So he has set the new record. Yep, he broke the record on the 487th day.
He's still got 2.5 months left.
Right.
But it sounds like he probably lives in Colorado. So he should probably vacate the state to be able to fill out the rest of the.
This is Seattle, man. Seattle.
Seattle man. Oh, he
I
definitely
thought
needs
he
to
was
head.
Colorado, but yeah, Seattle man.
He
He's
definitely
definitely
needs to
trying
head.
to stay away from home.
Right. Right. Yeah, I have questions. If you if you know me at all in
Okay,
previous
so fire away and I'll see if I can answer them, and if I can't, I'll fake it.
first off, if he's not a professional, how old is he?
It doesn't say on this one.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna guess
I
six.
I would think he would be retirement of some sort.
That's what
Maybe
I was
he's a
I
young
think
kid.
he's. I'm gonna guess he's 60s. He's probably in retirement or pretty close to retirement.
He looks
Um,
like he's mid-50s at the earliest. Maybe he's a little older than that, but probably around the 50s.
but what makes you just decide one day I'm gonna try to go ahead and just break
Break the
the amount of golf courses that you can play at 18 holes in a year? You know.
divorce papers.
I mean, Jay's shaking his head.
good,
Also,
good, good motivation.
just a little reminder. Yeah, I didn't set that goal for myself.
Hey,
I don't know.
maybe when you've lived a life of suffrageness and you've been stifled in your golf playing creativity, you get divorced and you break out.
That's what it is. See, that was the missing link. He spent so many years in a marriage that he was unhappy, and his escape was golf. So he went
Unable to,
through.
yeah.
Yeah, he went through
Now
it
he's just gonna
to the
escape.
point. He just dove head in, and here we are, 450
He's
plus
now
later.
a world record holder.
Right.
Throw that in your face. How do you like me now?
You said I would never do anything with my life.
I would never amount to anything in my life. I'm a Guinness Book of World Record holder. Stuff that in your pipe and smoke it.
And I still have 2.5 months later, or
And I
two and a half
still
months
got two and
left.
a half months to go. I did it in less time. I could take the next 2.5 months off.
He won't though. If he's smart, he won't. Because
Right,
he's
he's
not
got
going
to
to
set
just
the
one
bar a
up.
little higher. Yeah.
It's not just going to one up the record, right? You don't do that. If you're going to
Right.
break a record, you might as well do it.
I mean, this was
You
on
know?
this was on October 18th, which I mean, he probably broke the record again today.
October 18th. I was going to say that was what, 2 days ago.
That was yesterday.
Or
Yeah,
a day ago?
yesterday. Today's the 19th.
Yeah,
So,
days they blend together.
yeah, I mean, everybody's going to listen to this on the 20th, so or after.
Or yeah.
So, yeah.
So Jay, you know,
Jay bought a lot
divorce
of
world.
fishing equipment.
What's that?
I said Jay bought a lot of fishing equipment.
Divorce world record.
Just going for it.
I mean,
No,
if you're gonna do
unfortunately,
it, might as well do it. What's that?
I don't think I can.
Golfing or
450 different fishing holes in a year.
I mean,
There's got to
that
be a
does
record
kind of
for it.
put the cap on, like, if you love what you do it the best you can. Like, this guy might not be a professional, good enough at golf to professionalize it, but he still has.
That's another part of my question is like, what's he shooting? You know, like,
Yeah, I mean,
does he
to
take a
have
handicap of like 7 shots? I mean, is it,
right to
or a
have
stroke?
played 18 holes, 450 different courses in 287 days. He's got to play a couple rounds in different courses on multiple days.
Also, how many rounds of 18 holes was he sober for?
That's the other thing. Golfing wise, you probably don't have to be fully sober to get through a couple holes.
Right.
So, yeah.
Questions,
All
man.
good questions.
We have to ask him.
So
You
on the
shouldn't
world
go through
record,
life without asking questions.
that's true. On the world record stream that we're on right now, a British cat, a British cat's 54.59 decibel purr breaks the world record
For loudest purr.
for loudest purr per cat. No questions on this one?
No. I mean,
like think about if your cat purred at 54 decibels, that's not like super high, but that's a good, that's a decent amount of like that's a low hum.
you just randomly wake up one day and think that you have the loudest purring cat in the world.
It would be annoying. For sure. But
That's
I'm
my
not a
question.
cat, so
Maybe as a
I'm
sound
not a
person.
cat person either. I'm 100% a dog person. Cats can get hit by all the vehicles. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Well, now those people are no longer on our.
we just eliminated the cat the cat listeners. I retract my statement. Cats serve a purpose.
too
Mainly
bad.
just
Too late.
catching
Put it out in the
field
universe.
mice.
All cat
I'm
people
just
hate you
saying.
now.
I'm just saying.
Don't hate the podcast. Hate the host.
Wait, the host. Yeah, it's
The host.
this guy. It's one of these guys.
It's that guy.
Whichever
right there.
you're seeing, whichever you're seeing that, this guy.
I didn't say anything about not being a cat person.
I
just
just
refrained
don't.
from voting.
Yeah, I still have questions. What, you just randomly wake up and be like, I probably have the loudest purring cat in the world.
So it's actually not the loudest purring cat ever. It's just the loudest living purring cat in the world right now.
So they reset
So the
record
loudest ever
died.
was 67.8 decibels.
I feel like you could hear that across the house.
Yeah, I mean, I would
50
be.
decibels
It would.
about a conversation level.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like 110 is a gunshot? I thought it was
I don't know what a
110.
gunshot is. 110, 120, something like that. Rock concerts
It's
around
up.
100, 105, 110.
Right.
So
So you have a cat that is purring half that amount.
a jet engine is 90, 95.
Really?
Yeah.
No, they're much louder. It's like 140
I was gonna say
A gun or a jet engine.
jet engines.
I don't
Are
think.
we
I, didn't
actually
think I thought they were around
here?
90.
Somebody Google this.
I run the
you have
driver sound at about 92.
Aaron, you have the 16 monitors going. Jay and I are just on one, so
So hearing damage starts at 120. Jet engines like 110 to 140. So I was a little under. Jackhammers at 100. Traffic or busy roadways at 80 to 89. 65 decibels is handheld electric mixer. So if your cat sounds like a handheld electric mixer, kick that sucker out your house.
that brings me back to so many like Thanksgiving dinners and stuff. Like somebody's mixing up the pudding or the mashed potatoes.
Right.
Meanwhile,
And
the
you're trying to
cat
watch
is
the
playing
game.
at the same level.
Yeah. Your TV is an average around 60. Washing machine's 55. It's louder than normal conversation. Very calm room is 20 to 30. A light leaf rustling on a calm breeze is 10. Weird. The auditory threshold is obviously 0. So, yeah. If your cat sounds like your mixer.
It kind of goes back to that previous world record of if you're going to do something, you might as well do it all the way, right? I have the loudest purring cat.
If my cat doesn't purr the loudest ever, I'm kicking it out. It's done.
Right.
Now,
Can't be the best.
We're not talking about a meow. We're talking about
this is just the purr.
Purring.
This is just it happy. Yeah. Happy and content, sitting on your lap.
That would be super annoying. I that would be annoying.
That'd make you less
It's
of a cat
louder
person.
than the average conversation.
Yes, the average conversation is 40 to 60 decibels.
So you have to raise your voice to get over the purr of this freaking cat.
That's right.
Cool.
Now we have really lost the cat people because you just said freaking cat.
Cancel the cat. Someone cancel the cat.
Someone cancel
I'll
that
see
cat.
myself out, guys.
All right. I mean, we might as well finish it up with a world record since we're continuing on this world record deal. Pepper X is now the world's hottest chili pepper.
We were talking about this, yeah.
We did talk about this also. See, we actually do some prep for this show. This is the
Not much, but
evidence. Pepper X, now the hottest. It is 2.693 million Scoville units.
it's
Just to put that
got to
in,
be clinically developed.
it was developed by Winthrop University. Wait, no, it was determined by Winthrop University. Who developed it? Let's see.
It's like a combination of peppers and some chemicals.
The creator of the Carolina Reaper unveiled Pepper X on popular YouTube channel First We Feast. He said it took him about 10 years of breeding to develop the super hot pepper. So yeah, Ed Curry, the founder of Puckerbutt Pepper Company, a creator of the Carolina Reaper. So basically he said, I created the Reaper that's 1.64 million Scoville units. Hold my beer, I can do one better. And then the next person that ate it did that.
Hiccuped and coughed all the way to the milk.
Died.
Yeah, died. Right? Yeah. No. Jay, do you like hot things like that? Like you like habaneros, ghost peppers, etc., etc. I mean, habaneros is like a drop in the bucket compared to this, right?
Yeah, habaneros are around 1 million Scoville units. Or
I
I think
much
they're actually habaneros. I think are around. Let's look it up.
I've tried a few of the ghost pepper type stuff, but it's just not for me. I like habanero. I like serrano, habanero. I like chilies. I like what I would call natural peppers.
Right. Nothing that's like hybrid or developed, by crossbreeding stuff to make this crazy demonic pepper.
Okay, so habaneros are about 400, or the standard habanero is about 100,000 to 350,000 Scoville units. They have a chocolate habanero, which is about 435 to about 577,000 Scoville units. And it is the fifth hottest pepper now. The ghost pepper is about 1,850,000 to 1 million Scoville units. The scorpion kicks in at 1.2 to 2. And the Reaper kicks about 1.4 to 2.2. So, I mean, just to put that in perspective, the jalapeno is like 2,500 to 8,000 Scoville units. This is like close to 1,000 times that.
I'm good. I'm good with the habanero. A little bit of Carolina Reaper or something every once in a while.
Right.
Mix it in some some stuff. I don't want to eat it straight off the cuff. But no, I'm good. I'm good with. I feel like I have a pretty good tolerance of like hot stuff, but apparently I do not. There is hot stuff, and then there is hot stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, at standard habanero level, you pretty much you can still taste things. You got your Thai chilies at about 50,000 to 100,000. Once you get up past the habanero, then it's just like where it hits you on your mouth. Like I
Right.
think habaneros kind of feel like pepper spray. Like when you eat them, they kind of feel like they kind of spread across your face. I'm a chef. I
But I
got
feel like if
this.
it's mixed in with like a soup or a sauce or
Right.
something like that, it's so much different. But I don't understand where we got to the point to where it was like, okay, your face feels like it wants to fall apart and
Melt.
yeah, where we got to that point to where it was like, okay,
This is fun.
yeah, I'm gonna make something hot.
Right.
It- honestly, like the only person I know that has gone into this realm of around 3 million Scoville units is my wife. And she did the Devil's Blood challenge where you take like this it's basically pure capsaicin. At some point you will no longer have a pepper. It'll just literally just ooze capsaicin out, which is the spiciness, the hot part of and you'll just like there won't be anything but that in the pepper. It'll just be like a glass of capsaicin basically.
Well,
Um
why?
I don't know. I don't know.
But why? That's my
I
question.
mean, she likes it for like in Thai food, like really spicy Thai food, or but she said the same thing about the flavor type thing. Is that at some point you no longer have flavor. Like capsaicin doesn't have any
You're
flavor.
like,
It just
hot.
it just emotes that pain sensor in your mouth and in your face if it's sprayed all over you. It's basically what they use for pepper spray.
Bear spray.
Bear spray or pepper,
Yeah.
or yeah. And so like
Device to
she
keep
said
things away.
she said and when she did that, she just did like I don't remember like put her finger in on a spoon or something like on a dot of it and then
Just
put it on her tongue. Yeah. And she said for maybe a week or 2, 3 weeks, like nothing could be hot enough. Like she couldn't get things like we went, we go to like a Thai restaurant and she orders like 10, Thai spicy and they're like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yes." And I'm
we
like,
cut that off at 8. I don't
"Right, for Americans, we cut that off at 8." And she's like, "No, go to 10. Give me the full Thai
Yeah.
experience." And I'm like,
Give me the real
"Give me
experience.
give me a 1, maybe a 2." That's where
Yeah,
I'm
I
at.
like stuff. I feel like I'm a moderate spicy kind of person.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not.
I've
I
gotten
still like to. I still like to have the flavor. Like a good spice still has a
yeah,
good flavor.
but
You
Thai
get too
spice
crazy.
is just yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I want it to be hot or have a little spice, but I don't, I don't want to have to try to like take my next breath in between the flame, you
Right.
know.
Like Prilosec on order, like ready to go.
Right, I'm like just drinking, milk like a gallon. Like you want to drink a gallon of milk in less than a half an hour or whatever in
Yeah.
one drink without throwing it up, and then you still might. Just take one of those Reapers.
Right.
I mean,
What
you'll
are you
just
gonna
be
do?
bathing in it. You'll be yeah.
You're
You'll be
just pouring
the
it all over your face at that point.
What
be
will
the
they think of next?
it'll be the Milkman prophecy all over again. So, well, Jay Boots, what'd you learn?
I learned to stay in my lane. I learned to just keep it at habanero. Don't fire missiles at Israel.
That's
And that's it.
that's a big one. Like it seems like not many people have learned that yet.
Stay in your lane
You
is a very good sum up to this whole
stay in your lane.
conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that we called this solidarity tonight. Yeah.
Oh,
So, honest
where's to
Dave,
live?
you got any last final words?
I feel like I've spewed nothing but knowledge over this whole
This
podcast.
has been 100% knowledge. I feel like I'm educated.
100% knowledge.
I've
Yes.
free thinked all over the place here.
Yes. I thought free the whole time.
This is all free thinking. Like we haven't
I
charged you a
eliminated-
dime for this.
Yes, I eliminated multiple listening groups.
That's right. I have freed
Not on purpose,
your
inadvertently.
thinking.
Promise. Yeah. What about you? What'd you
well,
learn?
I learned that there are too many Scoville units. I learned that if you're going to be good at something, be the best. Drive into the swamp, keep your swampy coffee order safe and dry.
Mom seatbelt.
Golf as many places as you can in a year. Only have loud purring cats. If you make a meme that you spend 7 months in prison for, wear it as a sign, as a badge of honor. Yeah, I think with that, go out there and create memes that you spend 7 months in prison for. Just for that. On
Live
that good
life.
note, get on our website at whyimangry.com. Get the merch. Get all the merch. Get the merches. It's real. It's cool. And,
Think free.
get it. It supports our cause. We'll be talking about that a lot more next podcast. Get on and get out. Think freely. Remember to follow, like, and share the Why I'm Angry podcast across all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast. The Why I'm Angry podcast ends now.